Hello and welcome. This is Kristen from the Online Selling Show, and I'm here. I'm going to start, which is part two, but day two of me really getting immersed in this whatnot. Part one was giving you an idea as to what my reasoning is for why I feel that devoting my time to education and trying this program is worthwhile. I will report that I find there to be a lack of education and available help on the app themselves. I do understand there is a desktop version. I have not been on that yet. My understanding is this was built mainly to be a mobile app, so I would expect that that would be where most of the help and things like that would be. One of the problems I'm running into, they give you a 101 very quick course on an oversight of where different things may be, very basic on the program. But here's a few of the things that I'm still kind of scratching my head over, or really had to do some digging around. Thank God there was some really well-spoken people willing to share, YouTube people or personalities that were able to give me some questionings and fill in. One area that was there was basically how I was running this. They talk about adding a product, but they didn't get into anything as to press this button to start this, and do this button and do that. They gave a rehearsal section, which was great. You can supposedly, they have a mock-up. In the computer world of getting a new software when I was at the government, had what was known as the sandbox. And it was great that you could fool around. It would record you, supposedly, like put the camera on you so you could talk the products up. They were obviously different random stuff that they had put in there. They did try to put a different mix of stuff, but it was mainly things in that like comic, cartoon, sports card, collectible aspect of it. They did have one or two, I think there was one thing for women's clothing and one thing that was a purse. So it doesn't go anywhere. So I mean, if you don't know anything about it, it doesn't really matter. You can just talk randomly about anything and it didn't matter. One of the problems I felt, though, was they didn't really give you the direction of, here's press this button to put the item up on the screen, because it's on a separate pop-up, so you have to kind of be lagging between the two screens to actually see when you press the button what it actually did on screen. And these auctions can be so quick because there's 10 seconds. They did give you a nice buffer. They did have some people going in there to bid, and that was one of the questions I had. Was it just 10 seconds? In the exact, like if you think about eBay, when the time is running out, no matter how many bids you get, it doesn't matter because it's going to end when it ends. The Whatnot app did seem to, when somebody bid on it, it added another 10 seconds, or I think it was 10. So that answered that question for me, that as long as it's like a regular traditional auction, that the more that people are still bidding, that it will keep extending the time to encourage more people to have an opportunity to bid. That was a good thing. One of my other questions was about the reviews. I did see that there is ways for people to leave feedback and reviews. I don't exactly know where. I haven't made any purchase yet, but I'm assuming somewhere's in your history of your purchasing, it'll give you some kind of a link or ability to do that. I did come across very vaguely about people that can complain about lost packages, damaged packages, or I don't even know how you would describe it as not as described, because you're having this whole conversation during the time of bidding. I understand from what people were commenting on with that it's basically at Whatnot's discretion. I would assume that should the package be lost, that they're buying the postage, that they would cover the loss for both the buyer and the seller. I did see one person make a comment that if you contact Whatnot concerning a package loss, that they will get right on it to get the package tracked down. The shipping is a huge part of a problem for me, in the sense that I cannot believe there wasn't more explanation on their site for it, because being in this e-selling world for 20 some years, shipping is the biggest problem that you can run into as far as an expense that is going to jump out at you, other than taxes and IRS, obviously, but I'm talking on-go business expense, and they really did not get much into that. They do talk a lot about adding a product, and it seems that as you're adding the product, you have selections to choose from at that point in time. It did seem that the selection offered on shipping was 3 things. Basically, you pay the shipping, which is offering free shipping to them. They pay all the shipping, or you can cap the shipping. The shipping part of it, though, for me, when I read up on another person's, or listened into another person's YouTube channel, they were talking about the packages are basically expected to be 12 cubic inches, which means it's 12 by 12 by 12. I did have some things that were going to be bigger items. My first show, I expected to sell some pillows, and the pillows are like 18 by 20 in size. I was planning to ship that in a poly bag. That I do expect I still will be able to meet in the weight requirements and things like that. I don't expect there to be problems because, like I said, I ship these all the time. I'm experienced in that. Should you have had a new person, which it seems to be, there's a lot of new people coming into this reselling world through this program, they're going to have a lot of pitfalls, a lot of questions, and possibly a lot of unexpected charges coming in, because if you're not charging correctly, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either, and I'm talking about undercharging, I'm not talking overcharging, because the post office is going to love you for that one. Undercharging, either the post office is going to make the decision and you have no choice, you have no idea which they're going to, it's a random gamble. They're going to send it back to you and say that additional postage is needed, or they're going to deliver it, or go attempt to deliver it and tell the buyer they have to pay the difference before the package will be released to them. If that's the case, again, that's going to be a problem. Right? Isn't it? So for me, when I went in, they did have a shipping cap, and I'm thinking for me, this may be the better way to go. I don't know. But basically anything under 5 pounds was going priority. I'm going to sell ornaments and stuff, clothing. That's very lightweight. That I've noticed, I guess people are getting around that by doing these random pull shows, and they're just bringing up a lot of stuff so that people basically fill their box up, so that they're getting a lot of really good deals to get the postage to be advantageous for them in their purchasing. I don't know, again, how I feel about all that. Some of this, I'm probably going to go back to doing the free shipping model, which is the thing I was trying to get away from with some of the clearance I wanted to do out of my wholesale accounts, eBay goods. I may be coming back to that model so that I can offer what it would be a respectable amount of shipping to cover it, that the buyer's incurring, meaning the $5 per se, instead of them having to incur maybe an $8 or $12 for an item. And one of the things I don't know is how much, I don't see there being really like a reflection as they're bidding what to expect at a shipping cost. I would expect some of these people that are buying lighter weight items, thinking they're buying an item pretty cheap and then getting a bill, because like I said, I'm in New Jersey, they could be in California, and something under a pound could come into almost a $7 charge. They may be paying way more in shipping than they even paid for the goods. So there has to be some more exploration for me on that. I did see there was somebody that did a pretty good explanation on giveaways for me. I have a really good direction now on how I want to go for that. I think I was in my mind building it up to be way more like I had to give these, almost like trips to Hawaii kind of things. And realistically, they got into it, and I had to get more down to earth, and that people just like getting anything free. And I'm not saying I'm just going to send them a stick of gum, but I do have some nice things that I have that are lightweight that aren't going to be a lot for me to ship, because again, we start shipping anything in the US, you're starting at, you might as well just say it's $5. There is maybe some that'll be like $4.14 or something, but they have to basically live the next house over for me to be able to get cheap shipping. So $5, and that's at my discounted rates, is what I'm going to have to go with. And if I'm trying to send, let's say, a kid's bow because they're buying kids' clothes, and I think that a hair bow would be a nice giveaway, I'm going to be in it for $7 or $8 by the time I'm done, by the time I get the hair bow. And no. So I think I have a couple workarounds on that. The other thing I came across in somebody's video, and they really didn't touch on it anywhere, was there is a reward program that you can set up with 5 levels for your buyers. Again, encouraging the repeat buying, the repeat coming in for your shows. And I thought that was great. I was also surprised to see that there is a place where you can set up and have a regular shop with regular fixed price offerings, which I thought was great, because some of the items that I plan to sell, I have multiples of, and they're items like candle rings where they may come in and want to buy 1 or 2 and realistically have a need for 4 or 5 per se. Yes, they do. Trust me, I have multiple people that are buying more than 2. And they want to get them, but they may not necessarily be willing to keep waiting around, or don't want to have to keep losing out. And if I have 24 of them per se, why not put them in the store with a fixed price? Let them think they're going to bid and get them at a cheaper price, and maybe they will get some at a cheaper price, and then be able to go get the rest of what they want at a fixed price and move on. I'm very much liking that feature, but again, they didn't touch on that at all. They didn't touch on anything about the raids and how you turn over your buyers when you're ending your show to somebody else. I felt that there's been a lot lacking so far. I'm going to be moving my show up. I think I was going to do it Thursday, but I think now that I've run into some issues with eBay and my scheduled listings disappearing. That's something in my weekly vlog I'll be going on. I'm just very disappointed in that. I will have time that I believe I can do the show. Today is Tuesday. I should be able to do the show by tomorrow at the latest. I'm still doing a little research I'm going to do some Christmas stuff, and I don't see many doing that. I don't know if that's good or bad. We shall see. That's my rambling so far of where I'm at in my exploration of whatnot selling.